Why older adults keep waking up at 3 a.m. and what it really means for your health and sleep, senior. It's a common experience for many older adults to find themselves wide awake in the quiet stillness of the night, often around 3 a.m., with sleep suddenly elusive. Lying there in the darkness, one might stare at the ceiling, wondering what could be causing this disruption, questioning if something is inherently wrong with one's body or mind. The reality is, this early morning awakening is far more prevalent than many realize, and it's not simply an arbitrary habit that comes with getting older. This exploration delves into 5 significant reasons why individuals tend to wake up around this specific hour as they age, and what these pre-dawn awakenings might be trying to communicate. Each reason offers a unique perspective, shedding light on deeper aspects of one's physical health, psychological well-being, and life experiences. By the conclusion of this discussion, you may find yourself viewing your sleep patterns with a fresh understanding. These are not superficial explanations. They are grounded in genuine physiological processes, psychological dynamics, and the natural rhythms of aging, many of which are not commonly discussed. We will cover shifts in hormonal production, alterations in sleep architecture, various health challenges, and even the subtle influences of emotional and social factors that can quietly impact our sleep. Our approach is designed to be forthright, empowering, and deeply respectful of the journey of life already undertaken. Therefore, if you have ever experienced waking up around 3 a.m. and pondered the reason behind it, you are in the right place. Please stay engaged until the end, as the insights gained here may not only assist in improving your sleep quality, but could also foster a greater appreciation and understanding of what your body is undergoing. Let us begin by examining the first crucial factor. The first compelling reason behind the frequent 3 a.m. awakenings in older adults is the natural and inevitable decrease in melatonin production that accompanies aging. Melatonin, often referred to as the body's sleep hormone or its internal clock regulator, plays a pivotal role in initiating and maintaining sleep. During younger years, the body typically produces a robust and consistent amount of melatonin each night, facilitating long, uninterrupted periods of restorative sleep. However, as individuals progress through life, the body's capacity to synthesize this vital hormone diminishes. This alteration in internal chemistry can significantly impact the quality and duration of sleep. While falling asleep at the beginning of the night might still be relatively easy, particularly after a demanding day or a calming evening, by the early hours of the morning, typically between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., the natural melatonin levels can drop to a point insufficient to sustain deep sleep. This often leads to waking up, not due to an external disturbance like a noise, but because the brain is gradually transitioning back towards a state of wakefulness. Without adequate melatonin to anchor the body in sleep, these awakenings become more likely. It is important to understand that this phenomenon is not a sign of personal failure or a bodily malfunction. It is simply a biological shift occurring with age. Furthermore, the sleep environment can exacerbate this effect. Even minor sources of light, such as a street lamp outside a window, a digital clock displaying its time, or light filtering from a hallway, can further suppress melatonin production. The aging body often becomes more sensitive to environmental stimuli, making these early morning wake-ups feel particularly frustrating. Consider the case of Harold, a 72-year-old gentleman who always considered himself a sound sleeper. Recently, however, he has found himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m. on most nights. He doesn't experience anxiety or distress, but rather a feeling of being fully alert, as if it's time to start the day. Upon understanding that this was not a personal failing, but a natural consequence of aging tied to melatonin decline, he ceased blaming himself and began making conscious adjustments to his lifestyle. He now ensures his bedroom is as dark as possible, abstains from screen use for an hour before bed, and incorporates a brief evening walk to reinforce his body's natural circadian rhythm. These minor modifications serve as cues to his body that it is still nighttime, and, while early awakenings still occur occasionally, he has learned to work harmoniously with his body rather than against it. This type of informed perspective can be transformative. When you recognize that an early wake-up might not be a reflection of your actions, but rather a natural chemical recalibration, you can proactively implement strategies to support your sleep rather than feeling resentful of your own body. This awareness shifts frustration into self-compassion and empowers you to make more informed choices about your nighttime self-care. A second significant contributor to the phenomenon of older adults waking around 3 a.m. is a natural alteration in the body's internal clock, a condition known as advanced sleep phase. As individuals age, their circadian rhythms tend to shift forward. This means that the natural inclination to feel sleepy may occur earlier in the evening, leading to correspondingly earlier wake-up times in the morning. You might notice yourself dozing off during evening entertainment or finding yourself waking up spontaneously at dawn, even on days when you wish for additional rest. This shift is not merely a matter of acquired habit. It is deeply rooted in biological processes and can become more pronounced with each passing year. In earlier life stages, one's internal rhythm is often more aligned with a later bedtime and a wake-up time that synchronizes more closely with daylight. However, as this rhythm advances, the window for sleep naturally moves forward. It is common to fall asleep by 9 p.m. or even earlier, perhaps without deliberate intention. Consequently, by the time 3 a.m. arrives, the body may have already completed its necessary restorative cycles, leaving you feeling fully rested yet awake. This is why you might find yourself alert in the middle of the night, with a sensation of having had sufficient sleep despite the darkness outside. This is not indicative of any pathology. It simply signifies that your body is operating on a different temporal schedule. Consider it akin to a clock that has been gradually adjusted over time, ticking forward a little faster each season. While this shift is not inherently detrimental, it can present challenges if one's lifestyle, family commitments, or personal preferences are not congruent with this new internal timing. There is also a subtle psychological dimension to this change. Many older adults lead quieter lives or spend more time in solitude. Such serene environments can amplify the body's signals to wind down earlier in the day. In the absence of the constant activity or ambient noise that may have once naturally delayed bedtime, the body's nightly shutdown process may commence much sooner. Furthermore, if one is no longer engaged in full-time employment or adhering to a strict daily regimen, the lack of external temporal cues, such as scheduled meetings, commuting times, or social engagements, can further reinforce this internal temporal shift. Take, for instance, Charles, a 68-year-old retiree. He typically enjoys his evening meal around 5:30 p.m. and then watches television for about an hour before retiring for the night by 9 p.m. Consequently, by 3 a.m., his body is biologically prepared to awaken. He doesn't experience any feelings of anxiety or stress, merely alertness. Initially, he attributed this to insomnia, but upon learning about the concept of advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep was not broken, but rather rescheduled. Charles began adapting his evening routine to remain awake for a slightly longer period. This involved activities such as reading a book under soft lighting, taking a gentle stroll after dinner, or engaging in a brief phone call with his daughter before bed. These modest social and sensory inputs helped to subtly extend his sleep window, thereby shifting his wake-up time closer to the morning hours. The outcome has been fewer 3 a.m. interruptions and a greater sense of harmony with his daily life. This natural progression of the sleep cycle is something experienced by numerous older adults, though it is infrequently discussed. Understanding this phenomenon can alleviate significant guilt and confusion, offering a more compassionate approach to working with one's body rather than in opposition to it. Therefore, if you find yourself waking around 3 a.m. and feeling as though you have experienced a full night's rest, your body may simply be operating on an earlier schedule. Once this is understood, you can begin to shape your daily routines in ways that promote your overall well-being. A third prevalent reason for older adults experiencing awakenings around 3 a.m. stems from physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to become more apparent during the quiet hours of the night. As the body ages, the likelihood of encountering chronic conditions or subtle health concerns increases, and many of these issues can disrupt sleep without presenting as an acute emergency. They often manifest subtly, such as a stiff joint, a full bladder, or a fleeting ache in the back, which can be sufficient to rouse an individual from a state of deep rest in the middle of the night. Conditions like arthritis, for example, can make prolonged periods of lying in the same position uncomfortable. While this discomfort might not be noticeable upon initially falling asleep, it can build up over several hours of stillness, reaching a point where it prompts an awakening. For others, nighttime acid reflux might disrupt sleep, particularly if dinner was consumed late or if they reclined too soon after eating. Even seemingly minor issues such as dry mouth, muscle cramps, or subtle shifts in room temperature can trigger a light awakening during the early morning hours when the body's physiological systems are generally more sensitive and less resilient than they were in younger years. One of the most common physical triggers for older men waking at 3 a.m. is the need to urinate. With age, the bladder's elasticity tends to decrease, and the urge to void can become more frequent and urgent. While this sensation might be manageable during the day due to distractions, in the quiet and darkness of 3 a.m., it can become impossible to ignore. Furthermore, once one rises to use the restroom, the transition from deep sleep to a lighter state of alertness can make it more challenging to return to sleep. Medications, commonly prescribed for conditions such as hypertension, heart disease, or pain management, can also contribute to sleep disturbances. These medications may have side effects that include increased urination, altered body temperature regulation, or heightened sensitivity to noise or light, all of which can subtly impact sleep quality. The connection between medication and sleep patterns may not always be immediately apparent and might require careful observation or external guidance. Consider Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who has always been a relatively light sleeper. Over the past year, she began consistently waking up around 3:30 a.m. After months of attributing this to the natural aging process, she consulted her physician and discovered that one of her prescribed medications was affecting her hydration levels, leading to more frequent nighttime bathroom visits. With her doctor's assistance, she adjusted the timing of her medication, incorporated certain lifestyle changes, and subsequently experienced fewer nighttime awakenings, finding it easier to return to sleep when they did occur. The crucial takeaway here is that physical awakenings are not indicative of bodily failure. Rather, they are signals that the body is actively functioning and responding. These signals can provide valuable guidance towards better self-care, more informed decisions, and a deeper trust in one's own bodily awareness. While waking up at 3 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, it can also serve as a gentle prompt to pay closer attention, conduct a self-assessment, and implement minor adjustments that promote improved health and more restorative sleep. Another significant yet often overlooked factor contributing to early morning awakenings around 3 a.m. in older adults is the cumulative effect of long-standing lifestyle habits and daily routines. These small, consistent patterns and choices can subtly reshape the body's internal rhythm over time. Many older individuals naturally begin having their evening meals earlier, adopting a more relaxed pace of winding down in the evening, and experiencing reduced physical activity during the day. These seemingly minor shifts can collectively signal to the body that the period of rest should commence earlier, which inevitably leads to an earlier wake-up time. When daily life becomes less structured, particularly following retirement, the body may no longer receive the same robust external cues it once relied upon, such as commuting to work, running errands, or engaging in mentally or physically demanding tasks. In the absence of these strong temporal anchors, the body's sleep-wake cycle can begin to drift forward. An evening characterized by tranquility and minimal stimulation can prompt the brain to initiate melatonin production earlier, inviting sleep well before the clock strikes 9. Consequently, once sleep begins earlier, the body naturally completes its restorative processes earlier as well, leading to awakenings in the pre-dawn hours, often around 3 a.m. There is also a subtle interplay between the timing of food intake and sleep quality. While eating dinner early is generally considered a healthy practice, it can sometimes lead to a slight dip in blood sugar levels overnight, especially if no light snack is consumed before bed. This dip, while not always perceived as hunger, can still rouse the body from sleep. Similarly, caffeine consumed even in the early afternoon can persist in the system, particularly as metabolism slows with age, subtly diminishing sleep depth and increasing susceptibility to awakening at any disturbance. For individuals like Walter, a 74-year-old recently retired gentleman, these changes evolved gradually. His days became less regimented and his evenings more leisurely. He found himself having supper at 5 p.m., often dozing off in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Without conscious realization, his entire daily schedule had effectively shifted by several hours. Before long, he began waking around 3 a.m., perplexed as to why he was so alert before the day had even properly begun. Upon reflection of his routine, Walter began implementing minor modifications. He incorporated a short afternoon walk, read in brighter light during the evenings, and made an effort to avoid napping after dinner. These adjustments helped to gently nudge his natural sleep window a bit later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that aligned more harmoniously with his desired wake-up time. It is remarkable how often we overlook the profound influence of routine. Our bodies thrive on rhythm, on daily patterns that act as signals, informing the brain when it is time to rest and when it is time to be active. As these signals weaken or shift, the internal biological clock can lose its precise calibration, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. However, by consciously observing these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it is possible to gently guide the body back towards a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disruptive. The fifth and final reason for early morning awakenings around 3 a.m. often resides less in the physical realm and more in the landscape of the mind, relating to emotional and psychological restlessness. As individuals mature, emotional complexities that may have been subtly suppressed by the demands of daily life can begin to surface in the quietude of the night. These early morning hours, when the external world is hushed and distractions are minimal, frequently become the stage upon which unspoken worries, lingering regrets, or unfulfilled longings emerge. One might find themselves lying awake not due to external stimuli or physical pain, but because the mind is quietly processing memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties that one was perhaps not consciously aware of holding. This form of mental agitation is distinct from the overt anxiety that might be experienced in younger years. It is often quieter, more reflective, and can manifest as a low hum of unease, a feeling that something is unsettled, even if its specific nature remains elusive. When the mind is not actively engaged with external tasks, it tends to turn inward, revisiting past relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. Because the body is no longer in a state of rushing from one responsibility to another, there is ample space for these thoughts to resonate more profoundly. It is also important to acknowledge the potential role of loneliness. For many older adults, social networks can diminish over time as children relocate, friends become occupied with their own lives, and routines shift. While the daytime might be filled with light and activity, the nighttime brings a heightened awareness of quietude, and with it, a recognition of any emotional voids. This type of loneliness does not always present as an overwhelming burden. Sometimes it simply manifests as a yearning for connection or a faint sense of longing for conversation when the household is still. Consider Gloria, an 80-year-old widow. She keeps herself occupied during the day by tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, and watching her favorite television programs. However, around 3 a.m., she often awakens, her thoughts drifting to shared moments with her late husband or to worries she has managed to set aside during daylight hours. Initially, she believed there was something fundamentally wrong with her sleep. Over time, however, she came to understand that her early awakenings were not primarily about sleep itself, but rather about her emotional state seeking acknowledgement. To support herself, Gloria began keeping a small journal by her bedside. When she wakes, she sometimes writes down whatever comes to mind without self-censorship, simply recording a few honest thoughts. She also introduced a gentle evening ritual, such as listening to soothing music or writing a brief note to a friend. These small acts of reflection and connection provided her emotions with a gentle outlet, easing her mind and facilitating a more peaceful return to sleep. The reality is that the human heart and mind do not operate on a rigid schedule. They recall what is significant, pose the questions that require consideration, and sometimes undertake these introspective processes during the stillness of 3 a.m. when all else is quiet. This is not a deficit, but rather a testament to inner depth. If you find yourself waking up and experiencing reflective moments, it may indicate that you are carrying wisdom that is ready to be acknowledged. You have navigated a lifetime of joys and sorrows, and these experiences shape not only your memories, but your very sense of self. Rather than viewing these awakenings as problems to be fixed, consider approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind attempting to communicate? What aspect of yourself requires an outlet for expression? What part of you is seeking a measure of grace, even in the quiet hours? At times, the most profound form of rest arises not from dismissing these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may discover not only improved sleep, but also a richer understanding of yourself during this current phase of life. As we conclude this exploration, take a moment for quiet contemplation of what has been shared. What aspects resonated most deeply with you? Was it the natural shift in your internal biological clock, the subtle alterations in your physical health, or perhaps something more profound, an emotional rhythm that only reveals itself when the world outside falls silent? Each of these 5 reasons offers a distinct perspective for understanding your early morning awakenings, and importantly, none of them suggest that something is fundamentally wrong or broken. In fact, each highlights how intricately your body and mind continue to function, respond, and adapt as you navigate this stage of life. There is a subtle yet significant power in comprehending what your body is attempting to convey, particularly during those gentle hours preceding dawn. Instead of perceiving 3 a.m. awakenings as mere annoyances, you might begin to view them as messages, gentle signals urging you to listen more attentively to your needs, your habits, and the promptings of your heart. You are not alone in this experience, nor are you the only one seeking answers. However, with increased insight comes inner strength, and with that strength comes the liberation to implement small, meaningful changes that foster better rest, enhance comfort, and deepen your connection with your own natural rhythms. If any of these explanations have resonated with you today, understand that you are not merely aging, you are evolving. And with this evolution comes an opportunity to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself with greater gentleness, and to greet each new morning with a heightened sense of understanding and inner peace. Thank you for joining us today. We genuinely value your engagement and would be delighted to hear from you. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, highlighting one key takeaway from today's discussion and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your perspectives are invaluable to us and serve as a significant source of motivation and encouragement. If you found this video beneficial and informative, we kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support is instrumental in enabling us to continue creating valuable content designed to inform and inspire. Thank you for watching, and we eagerly anticipate seeing you in our next video.